What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Weekly Scraps. UFC Des Moines, Iowa is in the books. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Obviously, the card was full of fun fights, but I want to put on my Oscar and Frank shades, because when I'm wearing these glasses, I could be disrespectfully respectful.
Or are you trying to disrespectfully respect?
Everybody, I want to respect the world and just show them my gratitude.
I feel like you're actually going to be respectfully disrespectful.
I become a different person. It's like a lot of those fights were trash, but then as soon as I take them off, they were doing so good in there. It was actually amazing. I got nothing but the utmost respect and praise in the Most High for these guys and all the efforts and hard work that they put in. But I gotta tell you, some of those schmooze were absolute garbage, bro. It was absolutely insane to see. Like, why would you do that? That was like the silliest thing you could have done. Like, I don't even get it. Okay, let me take this.
I think the fight world could use more guys like me disrespecting the fighters.
Yeah, like you and Guru.
Exactly. Because, like, you guys get a lot of praise just for the fact that you're fighters. Like, nobody can ever criticize you because you step in the octagon. But it's like, someone has to criticize you. We can't have the only people criticizing you being former fighters because they're never going to criticize you. They just respect you too much.
100%. So, like, these fighters need to get their shits pushed in because they think they're the shit and they're not.
Bro, exactly. You guys think like, oh, I step in there, I cut weight. Oh, I can never ever be criticized about anything ever. I walk on fucking clouds.
Exactly. And this is why I'm here with you, being disrespectfully respectful right now, here.
You're respectfully disrespectful. I'm gonna be disrespectfully disrespectful going forward. That's my role on this podcast. So,
listen, man, somebody's got to do
I
it.
did have a couple bourbons before this, so I think that might be contributing to this. So.
It ain't no Funk Harbor, I tell you that. I don't know what type of shit you. What were you drinking? Was it good?
It was bourbon. It was Bullet.
Bullet's pretty good. Bullet's alright.
My go-to, but they didn't have Funk Harbor. If I'm ever anywhere and they have Funk Harbor, I'm getting Funk Harbor.
We're trying to fix these problems.
You're not. If you need some help with marketing, I know a guy who has a really good social media agency that helps people go viral. I could put you on.
I was actually thinking about that. So shoot me his contact.
All right, I got you. I'll put you.
Hopefully he knows what he's actually doing. He might know what he's doing.
I think he might. There's a good chance.
Yeah, we'll see. But the main event.
Bo Nickel needs to go to 170. I think that's the.
No. We'll start with the main.
All right.
I think that was a co-main. Yeah, that was a co-main. We'll start with the main. Sandman versus Figgy. I got the disrespect shades on right now. Yo, what in the fuck was that from Figgy? I gotta say, for a very talented fighter, most bizarre game plan I think he could have approached this with. And I don't know if things just changed when he got in there and he was like, yo, Sandman's big as hell. I can't get to him. Every time I punch, I'm swinging and I'm missing. But then he starts doing these leg lock shit. He gets Sandman down. Sandman is able to get back up. It was just a weird approach, I thought, overall. And I did think, Figueroa was going to be able to land some type of punch, either to like the body or something to kind of get the fight where he wanted it to be, maybe attack that calf kick a little bit more like he started to do, but then he just got away from him. Sandman was able to take him down, and then he starts going to like the false X guard and to like outside Ashi and all types of leg lock entries and all types of things. Then he's playing footsie. He's full on playing footsies in there, and it eventually cost him his knee. Congrats to Sandhagen, man. Just fought a perfect fight, as close to perfect as it can get. Didn't take any damage, really, and showed that he has really good fight IQ on the ground. 50-50 position and things like that. So, yeah, there's really not much to say about that. Figgy didn't really give much to really criticize. The only thing I can say is I just don't know what that game plan was. I mean, I've had bad performances before too, but damn, I just didn't think that would be the approach. And I said it before, I feel like he's just a little undersized, and he looked very undersized against Sandman. But yeah, I don't know what's next for Figgy. I think Sandman at this point is a shoo-in for another crack at a UFC title. Do you know how many fights he's won now? I mean, he beat... Who did he... Well, he lost... Yeah, just one. It's a one-fight win streak. Yeah, he lost to Umar.
He lost to Umar.
But before that, he was on a good streak.
That's what I was gonna ask. Is he the next guy to fight for the title after O'Malley?
I mean, I feel like it has to be. Who else is there? I mean, Song Yadong fought. He had that weird fight with Henry Cejudo. He was winning and looking good, but the fight was still starting to develop and looked like Henry was maybe, I don't want to say for sure, but looked like he might have a chance to get back into the fight, and then the eye poke happens. That was a bad eye poke. But with that said, there's no other clear-cut contenders at 135 because Merab is beating them all. So enter the Sandman.
Literally.
It's a very unique spot for the bantamweight division. I remember when I was down there, it was very different. Like all these guys were on like 4 or 5 fight win streak. Merab was on like an 8. So it's a different time now. Now that the King has cleared out the entire division for the most part, Sandhagen seems to be the only viable contender at this point, outside of O'Malley, who just lost and is getting an immediate rematch, while Merab had to fight and defend. I know he allegedly had surgery. I'm not going to say alleged. Well, allegedly, because I don't know for sure. People say he had surgery. I didn't see any pictures. I don't stalk his Instagram or anything like that, but I didn't see any pictures. So allegedly he had surgery. So you would think someone else should step in front of the line, like Corey Sandhagen. But instead he has to fight again. He fights again. He wins. So now this is a situation that we're in. But I don't know. I feel like that's got to be the only guy, right? There's no one else that I'm seeing.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I feel like Corey's the most interesting potential matchup that there is from Rob.
Yeah.
You know?
You got Mario Batista, Montel Jackson.
But he's number 10.
No, of course. But I'm just saying in terms of like win streaks, right? Like there's no one else in the top 5 who has a long win streak. Umar just lost. Petr Yan is coming off of a win over Song Yadong, right? And then he had surgery as well, allegedly. You know, again, I didn't see any pictures. So for me, I don't know if it's true or not.
I feel like Merab, God willing, he beats O'Malley. He could honestly take a break for a while, or he could fight Corey right away and then take a break for a while.
Yeah.
And then like let the division kind of marinate a little, because I agree with you. There's really nobody. Like Davison's top 5, but he's after Tuesday he'll probably be out of the top 5, and then there's really nobody. Like
we're sitting.
I think you gotta let some guys fight to see who's really the number 1 contender after Corey. You know, and even Corey's debatable because like he just lost to the guy who lost to Merab.
Yeah.
And then beat a guy who's like a flyweight who's top 5 but really shouldn't be top 5. So I don't even know if he should really. He's the best guy. He's the best option, but I don't think he's a great option at the end of the day. So
yeah,
I just feel like they need to like let the division marinate a little. You know what I mean?
4 beat 5, and it would have if O'Malley wasn't getting an immediate rematch, because then you could get some shakeup in the division. Because if he's now fighting number 4, or if he's fighting someone outside of the top 5, it just gives more opportunity for guys to string together just a shakeup in the division. When you have the same guys constantly fighting each other, it doesn't really create any shakeup, because now the only shakeup happening is outside of the top 5 and within that top 15. Again, you got Mario Batista. He's fighting. Who's he fighting again? He's got a big fight coming up. Or did I miss it? Oh, Cheeto Vera. He's fighting Cheeto.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Rafon, I'm not sure what he's doing right now. But then you like again, you just have an opportunity to shake things up. Like
I'm gonna be honest, like
there's no one.
there's
really.
a huge conversation going right now on about how like the UFC is kind of like not exciting at all lately. Like, and I feel like this division right now is like a perfect example of that because why the like Sean O'Malley getting a title shot again after getting fucking washed by Merab is a perfect example of like why the UFC is stalling right now. Like they're letting it's literally like it doesn't matter what you did in your last fight or what you did in your last 3 fights. It's how popular are you? Okay, that will decide who gets a title shot. And then the guys who are the most popular, who are the title holders, they're just letting them fight once a year. Like Islam barely fights. Sean O'Malley getting a title shot. Like really what's happening that's exciting? The guys holding the title are barely fighting. It used to be a few years ago, Izzy was fighting every few months. Kamaru was fighting every few months. You were fighting every few months. Like, shit was, like, the champions were very active. Now I just feel like the champions aren't active. The guys getting title shots got smoked in their last fight. Why do you think, like, or I guess, what do you think the UFC should do to kind of get rid of this? Because it's just, I feel like everyone's saying right now the UFC is boring.
I don't know how do you change the narrative that the UFC is boring. I mean, what creates excitement? Good fights, right? So, but good fights, especially for the champs that actually are worth the shit. Like, and that's why I kind of say people kind of harping on me about this, but it's about a viable win streak. I think if you have a good win streak, you have a good worthy contender, it makes it more exciting for people to want to tune in. When you don't have anyone that you've built up, and I know the UFC is not in the business of building people up. Once you get to the
But
UFC,
they
no
are.
fights are. This is what they say. We don't build people up. You go out there, you fight. If you win,
But
you win.
that right there, I think, is kind of the problem because they say that, but everybody knows they are in the business of building people up. Sean O'Malley was a guy they built up. Islam Makhachev was a guy they built up. You know? Everybody knows it. Like we see it with our eyes. I'm just being. I'll say it. If you can't say it, but I'll say it.
Hey, it's fine. I just think when you have contenders with good win streaks, it just makes it way more fun and way more challenges. And it used to be contenders wouldn't knock off contenders, but then you have Umar who knocks off Sandhagen, and now we're in this situation that's super weird because you had a very, very viable contender in Corey Sandhagen, now having to fight Umar, and you kill off a contender where now they're stuck in limbo because none of those guys were able to beat Merab. Obviously, respect to Sandhagen because he didn't get a chance. But now here we are. We're in this position where the divisions are just weird. 45 is just weird because the champ is gone. Now we have the old king back in Volkanovski, so there's some stability there again. But now it's one of those situations where Diego Lopez is skipping the line. Yeah, he has a good, viable win streak, but then the guy who's undefeated, who also beat him, doesn't get to fight. Now you create this weird paradox situation where who is Mosar supposed to fight? If he's not going to get beat, just give him the freaking chance to fight for the title, and hopefully someone can beat the guy. I don't know. You just create these.
But that's another perfect example. Diego Lopez.
It's just
getting
weird.
a title shot over Mosar. Like the UFC used to be like guaranteed the best guys are fighting the best guys. Like that's the business model.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. Like if this guy ends up being champion and he's a more boring fighter, you at least know he's the best guy, you know?
Usually, there are some past things, because I watch the sport so closely, that have happened where it's very clear this guy was not the favorite to get the shot at the title. But it's just one of those things. But yeah, for the most part, that is pretty much the rhetoric and the style of how the UFC has generally been. But things have kind of changed here and there for specific cases. Obviously, it's a
And
sole
now I feel
company
like
now.
it's like the business model is find a guy in contenders who's exciting, give him the easiest possible matchups all the way to a title shot. Give him a title shot because he's the most popular guy. But it ruins the credibility of a title.
Yeah, I know you're not gonna have everyone who's always gonna have these long 6, 5, or 7 fight win streaks, but at least 3 or 4 to kind of get behind. Like, okay, this guy's made a comeback or resurgence. We can make a highlight reel and build a storyline with them going into a championship fight. It just makes it more fun. And for me, that's what I want. I want the entertainment aspect, almost like WWE. Like you go there, there's a storyline. There's some type of backstory that kind of draws you in. And the UFC, yeah, it's real, but there's still some type of drama, some type of theater that people get excited about. I know some people say, I only care about the fights. I don't give a shit about anything else. I'm like, yeah, but the average person cares about a storyline because it gives us something to talk about, like sports. It gives us any type of sport, basketball, NBA, soccer. Oh, this guy was hurt. This guy was out. Oh, it just gives us a storyline. Oh, Michael Jordan has the flu. He might not play well, but there's a story. Now you're glued. Can he play as well as he has the whole season? Storylines, man. And that's what I'm about. I like the storyline. I like the drama. That's why I was always like, yo, I'm gonna talk shit because it gives us more to fight about and it gives us the people something to care about. But yeah, it's just a weird position. I just don't know what they do at this point.
It does feel, yeah, it does feel like
How do you fix it? I don't know.
I don't know. I think the UFC has like figured out the optimal way to like spike the social media numbers. Like they figured out that formula. We post this on this day. When this fight's coming up, we post this type of reel on this day, this type of hype video on this day. But and the numbers keep going up on social media and maybe on streaming. But in terms of like fan excitement, it just feels like there's not they've like let the art of promotion go. Where it's like it's not as exciting because of these reasons, you know?
Yeah.
Just because this guy gets the most likes on social media doesn't mean I'm the most excited to watch this guy fight. It's like two different things. So I don't know. I just think that's an interesting thing, like because we're talking about the state of bantamweight, you know, there's no real contenders, but they're gonna force somebody in there to hit some number, you know?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the UFC is going to make money. They're always going to be in a great position, especially because they do such a good job now with everything. But I think if you want to have some type of crazy turnover and like really build like a Conor McGregor, even O'Malley, I still don't get what the hype was about him in terms of like the persona, because you had O'Malley's persona versus a Conor McGregor persona, or even a Michael Chandler persona versus an O'Malley persona. It's just not even close in comparison. But I think if they have opportunities to build people up like that, and of course it's on the fighters to be able to deliver on both fronts, the entertainment side, in and out of the octagon, right? So they gotta be able to play part too. Not everyone's gonna be as good at that. Even like Kobe, I don't know what his pay-per-view numbers have done, but it's a freaking character that people either loved or they hated the guy. And it worked, you know. You call it cringe all you want, but it worked. It got people riled up. It got fighters riled up. It got people really wanting to off him outside of the cage. So, yeah. But again, great job by Sandhagen. He fought a near perfect fight, as perfect as it can get. Clock in, clock out, cash out the checks. And for Figgy, I don't know where he goes from here, what he does next, but I don't think he's going to go back down to 25. He might need to bulk up a little bit, but at 37, destroying the knee a little bit. Hopefully it's just the LCL and it's just a pop and it's not a full tear, because I did them both in college, and I was out for about 2.5 weeks, and I was able to get back to wrestling, especially taping it up. Obviously, you don't want to see nobody get injured for long term, right? We want everybody to make money, so that's that. But I don't know where he goes next from here. Maybe outside of the top 15. will probably be a good confidence booster for him if he can win. And if not, I mean, I couldn't imagine him fighting a guy like Montel Jackson, who's like 5'10", 5'11", with a 73 or 74-inch reach for the bantamweight division, knocking everybody out. I don't know if he knocked out the last guy because I missed that fight. I got to go back and watch the rest of them. But he's on a 6-fight win streak. There's some really, really good guys coming up. Batista, I believe, is also on a 6-fight win streak. So we're going to get some shakeup in the division soon. And there's going to be some new faces in the top 5 and some potential new storylines for fighting for the belt. And, of course, you got Jose Aldo still in the mix as well. He's fighting Ayman Zahabi. That's a really good fight. It's a great opportunity for Ayman to inject his name into the top 5 conversation if he can beat or even get a finish over a guy like Jose Aldo. And then, obviously, if Aldo wins, he turns back the clock, and he now reinserts himself into that title shot conversation. So there's a lot of good things, but there's some pieces that need to fall into the right places in order for everything to play out the right way. And I don't want to say the right way, but in a beneficial way for the business model side for the company and for the entertainment side for the fans. But
yeah, 1,000%.
Going on to Bo Nickel. I know you were saying he should go to 170. I know we did the podcast last week, and I was saying this, and I was harping on this a lot. I was like, I really want Bo Nickel to win, but I just feel in my heart he's just too small for the division, for the upper echelon of that weight class. And then you get guys like Cody Brundage, who he fought at UFC 300, and he was also bigger than him, you know? But maybe the skill set, the fight IQ of Cody Brundage isn't as high as a guy like RDR. But that's what's going to happen when you get into that top 15 of that division. Guys are bigger. They're a lot better. The only guy who's relatively closer in size to a Bo Nickel, to me, is Robert Whittaker, who also used to fight at 170. He's a smaller middleweight compared to everybody else, but everybody else is pretty big. We were watching live DDP versus Whittaker, and that size disparity it's just glaring. But Whittaker was looking good until he wasn't, until he got caught. And the same thing, Bo Nickel was looking good until he got hit with a couple of those knees to the body in the clinch, and the weight disadvantage showed.
Yeah, man.
Did you think he quit? Were you one of the ones who said he quit?
That Bo Nickel quit?
Yeah.
No.
Because there's some crazy people out there saying he quit. I'm like, you've never been hit with a knee like that before.
Yo, I definitely don't think he quit. He clearly took some hard shots that would shut down anyone's body. But did you see Al's tweet that was like, if you're a good wrestler... So Al Iaquinta tweeted basically, if you're a good wrestler, but you're facing somebody who's a good striker and good grappler, you're basically choosing...
Where you're going to lose.
You're basically choosing where you're going to lose. Because if you take them down, they're going to submit you. And if you can't take them down, they're just going to piece you up.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't looking good.
Do you think that's kind of where Bo's at, like, skill set wise?
Nah, honestly, respect to Bo and everything he's done in the wrestling career. I couldn't hold a candle to that torch, like, at all. I mean, I did do okay for a short notice of wrestling, right? But still, his pedigree runs deep. And some people were battling back and forth on me saying like his game plan was bad. He was trying to be a striker. I was like, dude, what fucking fight were you watching? The guy was forced to strike. The Ritter was forcing a clinch. That is how Bo Nickel got the takedown from the clinch that the Ritter was the one forcing. So he pushed himself into the clinch position, making it a wrestling scenario. That's exactly what Bo Nickel wants, right? He gets the takedown, doesn't do so great on the ground, jumps the gilly, went silly. No good. Took a page out of Dustin Poirier's book. Loses the guillotine, ends up on bottom, and almost for the rest of the round. And it wasn't very... It might have been for the rest of the round. But it wasn't great. That wears on you with the bigger guy. And then getting back up to start round 2, he comes out. The Ritter's the same thing. Walks him down, his back in his face. Throwing punches, not the prettiest looking snappy punches, but throwing strikes, backing him up, hitting him to the body, throwing short knees to the body, punching him to the body. And you can even see on Bo Nickel's face, I forget which body punch he threw. I think it was either the left hand from the clinch where Bo kind of grimaces, and I almost thought he got low blowed. I was like, I don't think you got low blow, my man. And then I looked, I was like, no, that was the body shot doing its thing. It's taking effect. And again, if you've never been hit to the body like that, especially after going a hard 5 minutes trying to scramble, get up, hold the guy down, he escapes, he's punching you. It's not great, especially when you least expect it. And obviously, you probably saw the clip, that last image of the knee. Ariel Hawani actually posted a picture of it. And I said, and I tweeted this, for anyone, or I think it was on Threads actually, for anyone who cannot see the size disparity here, you need to get your eyes examined, because we're looking at these and it's two different people. And I don't want to take away from the Ritter and make it all about the size. It was definitely skill too, fight IQ. The guy fought to his advantages. You want to grapple? We're not wrestling. We're going to make it an MMA fight. And even when Bo Nickal was trying to do ground and pound in round 1, he couldn't get anything off because he kept having to defend the threats of the submissions off of his back. So I don't know. I think Bo's a welterweight. And if that's a commitment. It's either that or he's got to commit to going up to 85, because he goes down to 70. Guy's going to be a little bit faster. Yeah, he might have a closer weight in comparison, but he goes up to 85, he's going to have to do some bulking. I mean, you look at Jared Cannonier, came down from heavyweight. He's an 85er.
Yeah.
Kyle Barajo, he's an 85er. He's huge. I've seen all these guys in person. Bo Nickal, I've seen in person multiple times. He is not a welterweight. Oh, bro, he hasn't been 170 since 2016. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? The guy's not an 85 pounder. Oh, he walks around 226. I'm like, where? Please show me. Please show me where. Because are we talking about just being fat and nasty, just eating everything, and then you're just bloated? Or you actually a filled out, muscular 226, and then you're cutting down? Because that's a unique difference. Very, very unique difference. Alex Pereira used to be 185. You've seen Izzy in person. 185
Yeah.
Izzy? He's a big dude.
Yeah. He's
Paulo
very
Costa,
tall.
big dude. Narsadim, Imavov,
Yeah, bro.
Big dude.
Bo Nickal, and that's a perfect example. Bo Nickal and Paulo Costa. How are those two guys in the same weight class? I'm pretty sure they're similar heights.
Yeah, they are.
If anything, Paulo is taller than him. Like, but Bo is like, he doesn't even look like he cuts weight.
Honestly, I that's how I feel. He reminds me of Kobe Covington at 170.
So-
Kobe's a small welterweight. Kobe could make 155, but you know what he says? If I go down to 155, my cardio won't be as good because I got to cut too much weight. And that's the gamble you take. But Kobe made it to the top of the division. Maybe not the champ, but he made it to the top of the division, fought for the belt multiple times. Bo Nickal, he's not there yet. And the performances don't look like it's going to get there unless there's some type of change. And I'm not saying he needs to become a striker overnight, but he needs to get a little bit more comfortable with the striking. Dude, he was winging punches that weren't even close. And it was out of just fight or flight, right? Because the Ritter's in his face. He's hitting him to the body. He's covering up. The ref is stepping in. He's got a 2-on-1 on his wrist while he's getting punched and he's grimacing. And then he's just like, fuck it, I got to throw something. And then he just swings a wild haymaker. I mean, if it landed, it would have been like, oh my God. Like Cody Garbrandt versus Rafael Sunset, where he like pointed at the ground and then whacked him and knocked him out. I was like, that's not real life. That's not real life. But yeah, I don't know where Bo Nickal goes from here. I am very invested in seeing what he does next for his next fight, though, and how he looks, and what weight class he decides to compete in. Because I know he's going to see everyone talking about the weight and size difference. You can have all the skill in the world. Weight classes are made for a reason. I had DC telling me this at WrestleMania. So he was like, Aljamain, come on, man. You know there's weight classes for a reason, right, son? I'm like, yo. I was like, I'm not your son. I'm not your son, too.
I mean, it's kind of crazy seeing Bo like this when like a year ago he was like calling for his like he wants to fight Khamzat for the title,
bro,
in Allegiant Stadium.
And I would have been such a hater if I said Khamzat eats him up, because it's not a wrestling match.
I'm not gonna lie. At that time, he had me convinced. I was like,
It's that aura,
"Fuck
baby.
yeah,
You got that
give
aura.
me that fuck, yo." But like, that's what the UFC does, man. They just can make anybody look like invincible if they really want to.
It's the
But
aura. The aura does this to you. It puts your blinders on. Your blinders get on, and then you're just like this. I believe everything. I believe everything.
also, like, I feel like Bo's not that far. I just feel like he doesn't know his game that well. You know, like,
Nah, he knows his
or
game.
or his weight class. Nah, like, bro, you don't see. Like, I feel like you compared him to a guy like Kobe, right? Like, I feel like Kobe.
Size.
No, I know, but like they kind of have similar backgrounds.
Oh yeah, in
No,
terms of like what they're doing, I would say Bo's a better
like,
submission artist. Kobe doesn't really finish fights, but Bo Nickel
but
does.
I feel like Bo could put that same type of pace that Kobe does.
I'm not seeing that. You gotta
I
show
mean,
me.
bro,
You gotta point to
I,
me a fight where Bo Nickel looked like an absolute Marab machine in there.
but I don't think he's tried to.
I feel like I'm saying I don't think he could do it because the fights that have gone closer to the distance, he looks a little tired himself. So I'm just saying I just don't think at that weight class he's not going to be able to bully ball people because of that. Where at 70 he might be able to
Interesting.
gas pedal
Okay.
guys like that. He might be able to gas pedal guys like that.
Maybe. Well, that I could see. Yeah. So my point is like, I feel like he's just so young in the game that he's like, he hasn't figured out these little kinks of like how to win fights at the high level. When like I feel like Kobe's a good comparison. Like they have a similar background. Bo's a world champion wrestler. Like you're not gonna convince me that Bo can't gas pedal some guys in the right circumstance, like Kobe does. So maybe it's like a weight class thing. Maybe it's like a how he preps for the fights thing. But I feel like he has that in him. He just hasn't figured it out. Like,
You
and
know
he came
Michelle
into
Pereira?
yeah, yeah.
You ever see how he would go balls to wall and if he doesn't get you out of there in the first round, he's exhausted? It's just that style is
Yeah.
not meant for everyone's body type and just style in general because not everyone's training camp is conducive to having a pace like that. People would love to have
Okay.
Marab's cardio.
No,
But
I
not everyone
agree.
can train
But
the way Marab trains.
nobody in the history of the UFC has that type of gas tank. That's known for that gas tank that didn't have a wrestling background. So my point is,
Marab
I
doesn't
feel
have a
like
wrestling background.
but all he does is wrestle.
You said background. You
And
said
he
wrestling background.
Okay, fine, grappling. Because judo is not that, like it's in the same ballpark for sure. It's not, bro. I'm throwing a grown man onto the ground. That's not that different than wrestling, bro. Like,
All right, you could have that one. Even, not really, but you
okay,
could have that one.
I know it's definitely different, but then it transitions very nicely into wrestling, which is all you and Marab did for I'm pretty sure 8 straight years of training. Just you and him trying to take each other down for like 8 rounds a day. Am I wrong?
No, but I also have the sensitivity in the body type. Like you have quick twitch muscles, slow twitch muscles, right, and all this. And I think everyone's just a little bit different in their physique and how they're built. Bo Nickel doesn't look like the guy who's doing backflips, running off walls, and like athletically like that. But you put him on
does
a wrestling
Marab?
mat, he moves really, really well. I've never seen him do it. I don't know if he can or he can't. I'm just saying, if you look at him, his physique just doesn't give you the appearance of, yeah, this guy could probably do a double tuck backflip off the cage or something like that, like a Justin Gaethje. And even Gaethje doesn't even look like that, but he's doing shit like that, right?
Yeah.
So
I feel like I don't know. Okay, my intuition says if you're a 4-time or what is he, 3 or 4-time national champion
yeah, something like that. He's
wrestler?
very good.
Okay. Okay, at Penn State, the most prestigious wrestling program in the world, like there's no way you don't have like insane cardio.
Yeah, but again, it's different. It's a fight. So when you're mixing in the punches and you're defending your anxiety, you're tensing up, you got to react to certain things. Bo looked very uncomfortable in there against RDR. And I can understand why. You get a bigger guy putting punches in your face and then attacking your body at the same time. It's very easy to get uncomfortable, especially once you do wrestle, you take him down, he sweeps you, and you go for a guillotine. And it's just, there's so many small nuances. I'm not saying it's impossible. I think he can do it. It's just going to be hard to do that for 15 minutes at that weight class. These are bigger guys. At the lighter weights, guys tend to have better gas tanks, which is why the lighter weights are usually more fun and more technical, because guys can sprint and go a lot faster at a crazier pace and not get as exhausted. You get to the heavyweight class, they kind of move like sloths because they have to conserve their energy and they don't move as much. And I don't know if the difference between training for Penn State wrestling versus training for an MMA fight, maybe that pedigree is completely gone where he's not doing all the same type of workouts because this is a different sport, you know? So that's my take on that. And of course, you got to balance it out trying to learn the striking and all the other stuff. I think Bo's still in a good spot. It's just, he's just a little undersized, and if he's going to try to beat these guys, kind of reminds me of Gregor Gillespie fighting at 155. He was so much smaller than everybody, but he would wrestle and shoot nonstop and outwork everybody that he did fight if he could get it to the mat. But once he didn't, he ran into a little trouble. Kevin Lee knocked him out. So it's just one of those things. And
what happened to him?
What, who?
With Gillespie.
He just disappeared. He wanted to fight a ranked opponent. The UFC wasn't giving it to him, and then he kind of just went dark. And you know, he's got his own life, personal stuff that he's got to take care of. But he hasn't fought since that knockout, and that was at MSG in front of Trump. That shit was crazy. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't want to harp on Bo Nickal to make it seem like it's a negative. But homie's definitely got to make a big career decision if he wants to continue doing this sport. I can see losing like that definitely sucks. Losing doesn't seem to be Bo Nickal's style at all. So he's going to need to make a decision. Like, am I going to go full throttle with this and come back and try to redeem myself just for myself? Or am I just good with, okay, you know, I gave it a run. The jig's up. It's over.
I feel like there's no way it's over for him.
I hope not. Because then,
I think 170
then I'll be like,
would be cool.
yeah, people would say he's a quitter now if he does that. Because it's just like, damn, bro, it got tough one time and you gave up. That's not good motivation for the kids, for everyone who looks up to him. That would be kind of a shitty way to kind of go out, in my opinion. I can never do it. I don't think he can live with himself doing that. I don't think he will.
Isn't it a skill set issue too? Like, I feel like he's not skilled enough to be in the octagon with this guy, right? De Ritter, you know? Like,
but what did De Ritter do that was so much skillfully better? It's not like he was throwing these crazy combinations, hitting pull, slip, and every time Bo threw something, he was just a ghost and came back and cracked him. He didn't make him look stupid. He just walked him down.
I don't know. Just the visual of, like, Bo getting hit in the face and not having any defense for it, grimacing, and then getting kneed to the body and falling, like, shows me, like,
you make it sound way worse than what it was.
Nah, that's exactly what happened.
To the body.
Or you know what? Like, that shot, the knee put him out. Like, that shut his body down.
The same thing happened to Henry Cejudo when he fought Mighty Mouse. Mighty Mouse attacked the body multiple times. This is a former Olympic champion.
But that was after a lot of back and forth.
Bro, crumbled.
That was a lot of back and forth before that, though.
No, it wasn't. No, it was not.
That was right away?
That was in the first round.
Wow.
Yeah. Mighty Mouse attacked the body, went to the clinch, a couple of knees. Henry started to cover it. Knee to the head. He backs up, knee to the body. Punches him, gets another clinch, knees him again. Henry goes down, bends the knee. Same way, Bo.
Wait, I thought they had a decision in their first fight.
I've been hit to the body, brother, multiple times in training, and I've had to bend the knee.
No, bro.
It's not great.
I'm not criticizing Bo for
I'm not saying you are. I wasn't
getting
saying you
finished by a knee. Like, bro, if you fucking flick me in the liver, I'm probably gonna go down. But, like, I'm just saying, like, I feel like Bo, that finish looked bad, is all I'm going to say. Like, so, it looked like there was a skill gap. And you even predicted there's going to be a skill gap here.
My prediction was closer to, Bo is an excellent grappler, phenomenal grappler, mostly wrestling. He's got a couple submissions, in his arsenal. Doesn't mean he's a great submission artist. He could just be better than a lot of the guys he's fighting, and it's cool. Okay? But Derrida is a really good grappler as well. Maybe not as highly decorated as a wrestler, but I mentioned the clinch, I mentioned the size, I mentioned the ground game, and all those things I said were apparently true. And I said Derrida's striking is not great, but him throwing a knee to the body, you don't got to be a crazy good striker to throw a knee to the body. You could throw a knee to the body if you do it somewhat the right way, or when a guy's throwing a punch, you step in and throw a knee. It's just one of those things. I think Bo was so beaten up already and so tired from the punches to the body earlier and from the grappling exchanges, he's exhausted. He throws another punch and then he intercepts him with the knee. He's going down. Anybody's going down from that, especially once that rib cage is opened up and extended. You get crushed to the liver, bro. You're folding. Superman is
No,
folding.
I agree. But
that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a skill. It wasn't like,
feel...
what was the skill? It wasn't like...
No, but...
Like, what would you do differently skillfully if you were Bo Nickal? You see what I'm saying? If you could pinpoint, okay, I think there's a skill deficiency here. I don't see a skill deficiency anywhere other than saying you should have just covered up and circled and looked like a little mummy.
Okay, but it's like shit like that.
Just covered up and circled for 10 minutes and recover.
But stuff like that. Like Bo looks really good against like the lower ranked, like the lower unranked guys. But then like a guy like this, he comes in, you predicted it. You were right. I predicted the opposite way. I've got to sit here and humble myself in front of you and say like you were right. But now I feel like you were right.
Okay. I like the sound of that.
You might never hear that again from me.
It's gonna happen. Funk Master predictions, baby.
Sometimes but you gotta tell me when I'm right, because I said Ian Gary by decision last week, and I didn't hear you say that Jake's right. So
you got no. But I said my heart says Ian Gary. But
I feel like, shut the fuck up. See,
nerds are on something right now.
Do you guys see this right now? He gets his props. I humble myself like a man. When I'm wrong, I give him his flowers. And he won't give me my flowers without a catch. That's all I'm just saying.
You're right.
Say that again.
Huh?
Say that again.
I said you get me tight.
That's not what you said. What you said the first time.
But, what was it saying? Yeah, I still don't think there's a skill deficiency, bro. And I think
wait, so Bo is skilled enough to hang in the top 15, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, Derrida was ranked 13.
And Bo couldn't hang.
Okay.
So he's not skilled enough.
I don't think it's a skill thing.
I think it is.
That's like if I'm skilled enough, if I go up to 155, my skill could be as skillful as it is, but the body weight behind the punches and kicks and then the size of grappling trying to move around the bigger bodies when they come into the octagon is going to be night and day. It just won't be the same. And then is that a skill thing? It's not a skill thing. It's...
No, but Bro, you're a world-class wrestler and jiu-jitsu practitioner, okay?
Yeah.
Bo, I feel like he's a world-class wrestler, but that's it. He's like decent at jiu-jitsu and below average at striking.
So why'd you pick him?
Because I thought he was going to wrestle fuck this guy. I thought he was going to wrestle fuck his way to the top 7 and then
with the much bigger man who knows how to grapple? And
I don't know much about
remember
this.
Your pick
I don't know
Kevin
about
Holland. Kevin Holland, I feel like doesn't take it serious. I'm like, no, Kevin Holland is a good gatekeeper test. And I hate saying gatekeeper, but he's a good test for anyone that's trying to get into that top 15. But, I'm not saying I was right. I'm just saying Funk Master did predict these things. That's all I'm saying.
Wait, but you agreed with me that Kevin Holland doesn't take things the most serious when it comes to fighting.
I don't think I said, I agree with you. I don't think he takes things as serious.
Like, winning is not the utmost priority when it comes to Kevin Holland.
I would say, I can agree with that.
Okay. So, you do agree?
Not really. But yeah, I think it's the size. It's almost like if I play basketball against a guy who's 6'7" and he's never played ball before, he's not very skilled, But I'm very skilled, and somehow this guy can just keep big dogging me to the basket and scoring. Is that a skill? Is that a skill thing?
Did you say big? Did you say big dicking you to the basket? That's kind of crazy.
Wow.
You said he could big dick your basket?
That was actually crazy.
He could big dick your basket? Is that what you said?
I'm gonna let you have your Diddy moment because I don't even know what you want right now.
So, my thing is, so let's say Bo goes down, right? So it's just a size thing. So let's say Bo goes down. Pause. Yo, I think we should just end the podcast right there. To be honest.
This is a long segment on Bo Nickel.
So wait, hold on. Let's say this, then you wrap it up. Bo goes to 170. He's got all the skills to be a champion. Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, Kobe Covington almost did it. So I don't see why he couldn't if he implements a similar style, which I think he has a little bit of a better style. Kobe might be a better striker though, but and a better gas tank. But I think he could have relatively similar success. I really do. That's my take. I think those guys will be closer to his size where when he takes them down, they can't just stand up like RDR. He had him in a perfect spiral ride position. He just said, I'm going to stand now. Get your hands off me. Turn around, whizzer, and get the underhook. And he start throwing the knees and start throwing the punches to the body. That was the beginning of the end right there. I can only assess what I'm looking at. I don't know what the training looks like. I'm going to assume that he's probably not sparring 85ers or big 85ers or high-level 85ers, something of that nature, of that combination. He's probably sparring guys that it's in his comfort zone so he can still progress, which is good. But sometimes you need to have those hard rounds that are going to help you elevate to the next level. And that's all I think it is. I think once he gets that and gets more comfortable, even with the size disadvantage, he could do a little bit better. But I just don't think a guy like RDR, who I think is a future champ, I really do. Between him and Kyle Brau and Khamzat Chimaev, I think it's a three-headed race for who's going to be the next champ. Unless DDP could still Homer Simpson thumping everybody, which I don't know.
DDP's beating Khamzat, but whatever. We can talk about that.
We will talk about that another time.
DDP's thumping the shit out of Khamzat.
Inshallah, we will talk about this. I am actually super hyped for that fight. I hope it happens. It's not signed yet, but I do hope it happens.
That's an insane fight. All right.
From Shanghai, China, I will see you guys later.
I was gonna make a racist joke there.
That wasn't racist, right?
I don't think so.
About to go shoot some more BJJ videos. Exciting stuff.
Send me this podcast. I gotta go to sleep.
Yes.
I'm shot right now.
See you guys later. Peace.